Hi, I'm Brock Wysong, science teacher at Little Miami High School, and you're listening to the Woodhenge podcast.
Welcome to episode 14 of the Woodhenge podcast. I'm Mr. DeSanctis.
And I'm Miss Frederick.
Thanks so much for sticking with us. It's been a little bit of an adventure coming back from Thanksgiving and now heading to Christmas break. And I've been sick and you've been sick. And
oh my God.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been sick since August, honestly. If you hear the earlier episodes, I'm like, hello. Like,
I mean, I'm still doing better than last year because I was sick for like 2 straight months last year.
I had strep throat 5 times last year.
I don't think I've had that since I was like 12.
Yeah, literally. We just had like a who is more sick off.
Yep. And now every time I start sneezing, I'm like, oh no, not that.
Please no. Yeah.
Because I was down and out for like 2 months. Like I
Yeah.
come into work for like 2 days a week and just try and get stuff through. And then I was back home and
Just
a couple other
sleeping.
people had it. And it was like, this is
Horrible.
terrible.
Yeah.
Tested negative for COVID and everything else. But it was a mess. So as long as I don't get that again,
I had strep over Thanksgiving break.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Mm-hmm. And then I came back and was like, guys, I will not be here the next day. Like, I came in that first day and I was like, I'm still dying. I don't feel well. And I had learned that I had strep throat that night or something. I can't remember because I was like, I don't feel well. And then, anyway, we've been sick. And
here we are.
God bless us. Like, we really are.
Heading into the break.
Oh, thank goodness.
Pretty much all the final projects are done.
Yeah.
This projects to be our last episode before the break.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea kind of started over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Came together in August. I still remember sitting here for our first episode with Harleman.
So
Kind of chatting about
fun.
stuff. We're in street clothes. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was day 2 of the 3 days before school started.
Yeah.
Of just kind of chatting and him talking about, I want to bring the culture back. I want to do some fun things. I want to bring back pep rallies. And,
Yes. That pep rally.
I'm kind of, and Shane Luck.
Oh, so good.
That video is out on the Little Miami DMA Instagram. We sent some cameras down.
I think I saw that too.
Got some cool shots of there. So I was kind of thinking about it, like, the semester was insane for me, just all the different things going on in my life and at school. But
yeah, what good news do you have?
well, the word has gotten out, so I guess it's fair to put it on here.
Yeah.
But Kayla and I are expecting. She's pregnant. We're having a baby boy in April. So our focus kind of over Thanksgiving break was starting to get some things together at the house, get a new office set up so we can make room for the nursery. And I don't think Kayla's going to have me paint because every time I paint it goes terribly. But I will be emotional support while she paints the nursery next week.
That's
and we kind of prep for that. So like as I'm looking forward to my school year, it's like even now wasn't quite the year I was expecting.
Yeah. But what a joy. Do you get more and more excited every time you like learn new information about your little baby?
I don't know.
Or do you get like that cold fear?
It's probably both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's probably both because there's a difficult history there for her and I with it, and this is the one that kind of stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of helps with the timing that we're both teachers, so we're getting towards summer at that point. With the way our contracts are set up, we both have enough leave to be able to just take it into the summer and and kind of figure things out from there. But
that's so awesome.
There's a lot that'll have to get figured out before then. And of course, she's like, I want to put airplanes in the nursery, and I'm like, we got to figure out a 529 like college plan. And you kind of have like your brain just goes different places with it. And I've been really fortunate to have some awesome people that I've been able to talk to and kind of lean on. And I know I give Mr. Carter some crap because he seriously is like my big brother, but he's been there. He was one of the first people I told because he was with me and he kind of helped me through when things went south last time. So been chatting with him about some stuff and his wife's been really supportive for Kayla too. So I mean, I think we're just trying to kind of take it where we can figure out what we can, knowing that like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert, but I kind of have a feeling that no matter how much you prepare, you're never really ready. Yeah. So we'll just be ready to be not ready.
Yeah. I completely agree. I mean, I don't think a lot of people on the podcast know this, or in general, but what's it called? Oh.
The entourage walks by.
Yeah, seriously. I'm getting married. Well, everybody knows that, but when I get married, I get a stepdaughter automatically, and she is like the best most wonderful kid I could ever ask to have as my stepdaughter, like right off the bat, like, oh my goodness. But I think that this year has been the year of like, okay, being a teacher is so different than being a mother figure or like second, like mom or whatever. Cause like that, I don't know. And I'm still getting used to that every single day. So I can only imagine like with like a baby and stuff, like it, obviously that'll change and be different, but like, I'm excited for you, and there's going to be a lot of exciting challenges. I really think that challenges is the best word. Like it's challenging, but like rewarding.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of keep going back to like everybody keeps doing it. If it was that bad, I don't think people would still do it.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. It's going to be an adventure. Our parents are both excited, and the family's excited for us.
New year, new family.
New year, new fam.
So exciting.
Yeah, so due in April. So when if I disappear mid-April and you don't see me again for a while, that's
you'll be having
probably
the best time.
why.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's our big thing from the fall. But for you, how has this semester been? I know you and I kind of chatted. I can't remember if it was on the podcast or after the podcast, kind of about our goals for the year back in August. And I remember what I said, but how did it go for you?
I think it went so much better than I even thought. Well, the first week I was out sick, basically, the entire week. So my kids didn't really get to know me, and I didn't get to know them until second or third week of school, and then we kind of popped off from there. But I think that I feel so relaxed as a teacher. Like, not like my content or anything, but me as a person, I feel relaxed, and I was so happy. So I think Dr. Harleman, when he talked about changing the culture, he was right. He did. Him and Adrian and Chad, and I mean, they're awesome admin that have been really hyping us up, and my department has always been strong and wonderful. And so, I mean, them feeling relaxed helps me relax more, and my students feel it too. And I don't know, it's just so good. This year is like the first year where I'm like, I say this later on in our interview, but like, this is the first year where I'm like, oh God, I feel like I'm going to stay. I'm going to actually do it. I'm good. Like, not that it's not hard and has its own challenges, but like they're challenges that I actually want to like face, and I don't feel scared or like nervous or, so this year has honestly gone by so well. And my kids have all been rock stars, even when they've been goofy and weird, and I've been goofy and weird. But the energy is a good flow between us. And though I do find myself in the hallways being a little bit more crazy than I thought I would. Like I definitely yell upstairs in the morning when I have the hall duty before ETH, and I think that changes. But I definitely was like scream shouting to go back into the classrooms and be on time to class. And I don't think I've ever done that before. But, like, there's a lot of loitering. And I think that is, like, the first thing this year that I'd say not a fan of, which we're changing for next semester. And I think that's
they're definitely
cool.
pushing on that.
Yeah. So I love it. I feel like we are going in such a great, strong, positive direction. And it gives me joy and a relief, honestly. Yeah. You? Beyond your personal wonders?
Yeah. I think my year's gone pretty well. I think when I don't know how much of a secret it was, but Kayla and I almost moved to Colorado early on in the summer, and I kind of really needed to reevaluate what we wanted. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to go back, and I'm just going to do what I do. I'm going to teach the content. I'm going to take care of the kids. Yeah. But one of the things that's kind of unique about my job is that, like, with my skill set and the block programs and stuff, like, I kind of take up these extra projects, stuff like this, stuff like the football highlights, and I was like, I want to that's the stuff that I really enjoy is like the block programs and like doing this stuff with the kids. So I think my goal was I'm going to do more of that. Yeah. So I think for me, I've definitely done that. Grant Waters, one of our juniors in the block program, I helped him with a baseball video last week. The baseball team got new uniforms, and Coach Woodruff wanted to do a cool reveal. So I helped Grant piece that together, and it was like, that's fun. And then we got the new football coach hired, and
love that video.
I was part of that process, and getting to do that video for kind of his big reveal with the snow on the field and stuff. It's one of the better pieces that I've done. So it's like, it's kind of a nice reminder of like, that's what I was what I wanted to focus on a little bit. Obviously, still putting the classes first and putting the kids first and teaching the content and getting there where they need to be. But, you know, that peripheral stuff, gosh, in an hour and a half block program, like, I cannot lecture. Like, that's not going to be a thing. So, like, as the kids are working on their projects, like, I feel the need to always be productive. So, like, I need to have something that I'm working on. So, whether it's editing these episodes or Mr. McIntyre asked us to help out and record a couple of his guest speakers, or Harleman will send me a note with, hey, can you help with this? Are you able to do this? Or Underwood will reach out, or our communications director. So I've been able to do some really cool projects for that, and I think that's kind of helped me stay motivated and going, because that's a cool part of my job where I get to use that skill set. Yeah,
I think that's awesome. I mean, it's crazy, but it sounds like we have had really good semesters so far, honestly, and I can't wait to jump back in the classroom again. I mean, I really need a break, but
yeah, I'm looking forward to the spring. I know I have some students that are having some projects they're looking forward to getting to. I'll have a whole new crop of intro to DMA students, so that'll be its own adjustment. We start the semester class again. It's like gotten the routine. Now we're gonna start over, but I have some cool stuff coming up in the block program. Some more episodes of the Panther Show.
Oh my God, I gotta say, I loved being on the Panther Show.
With the slang? Oh,
I was so good at it. My kid, I love it. I always share it for my 7th period just because we always have a little bit more time than my honors classes. And they were cackling because they saw me and they're like, Miss Frederick, and I was like, I know, I'm like famous. I love it.
You were on the Panther Show about a year ago.
I know.
With the Christmas carols.
I did the
singing.
And
it kind of, I remember the class looked around and was like, we got to find a way to get her on camera more. And that kind of came to my mind as we were planning out the podcast stuff this year of like, I've watched her talk to a microphone. It went pretty well. But yeah, it's just a matter of, I feel like we end up using some of the same teachers depending on when plan periods are and when I have the DMA2 class.
Yeah.
So good news, next semester, your plan is while I have DMA2. So it's kind of going to become the Frederick Show. I just don't know that the kids know that yet.
They don't know it.
No, they won't even see it coming.
Not at all.
They might hear your slang, though.
Yeah, I'll be like, Soleil Queen.
Right. So this week, for what shapes up, unless something gets weird, what shapes up to be our last episode of the fall semester, we brought in one of Little Miami's new teachers, if you can call him new at the end of the first semester. But Brock Wysong is teaching science here now. Was hired back in the spring to come in for this year, and is literally in the classroom right across from mine. So like I can kind of see his nameplate as we're sitting here talking and talking with him. And he's somebody that I've kind of gotten to know just as you do. You get to know your hallmates, and really, truly, and I have told him this. We didn't talk about it in our interview with him, but like, he's out in the hallway in the mornings outside his room sipping his coffee. He knows every kid's name. He says hi to everybody. He's kind of like pushed the envelope for me a little bit. And like, not that you want to get not that you're getting showed up or something, but like if he's doing it now, like I'm kind of inspired to do it. So like I'll bring my coffee out there too, and him and I will say hi to the kids as they pass by, and him and I will kind of chat in the mornings. And
that's so special.
It's been nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gotten along with everybody who's ever been in that room across from me. But it's been kind of cool to be able to work with him. I had an issue earlier in the year, and with his admin experience, I kind of grabbed him and was like, hey, what would you do? And he kind of helped me navigate a situation that was kind of tough that I hadn't really dealt with before. And he's been able to come over and go, hey, what does Little Miami do with this? Or do you have any idea what I should do here? So him and I have built a really cool relationship. I really enjoy him, and I'm glad we were able to kind of grab him since plan periods just never seemed to line up with him.
Yeah, and we've been here 5 years, so it makes sense that he comes rolling in and asks you questions. That is crazy. Good for us. Good for him. I'm glad he's here.
I feel more experienced than I probably should be.
I know, yeah, same. I heard year 5 is where you feel like an actual teacher.
Definitely a little more settled in. I think it's a combination of things, but
and who knows? Maybe the new year will bring new and exciting things.
I mean, for you and I both.
Yeah, seriously.
You get a new husband, I get a new kid.
We'd be rolling.
See where the world takes us from there.
Oh, you want to hear a new slang I heard?
Do we have to do this?
It's just one.
I think we're going to do this.
Okay. Have you ever heard of standing on business?
I feel like that's one of the ones you asked somebody. I feel like you asked somebody sitting in that seat over there what that was. And I think I was caught off guard then like I am now, and I have no idea.
It literally just means that we're rocking our business. Like, we are focused, we are laser focused, and like we're on top of whatever we're doing. We're standing on business.
So we're standing on business with this podcast?
We are.
So last week we bring in somebody that literally helped dig up the history of like what's here. And this week we bring in, so we go from somebody who has kind of had to stay in this since the beginning to somebody who's been brand new. So are we standing on business?
We're standing on business.
All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and stand on episode 14?
Love it.
Here comes episode 14 with Mr. Brock Wysong. Have a wonderful holiday season. We will see you in January.
See ya.
Mom, Brock. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Welcome back for episode 14 of the Woodhenge podcast. I'm Mr. DeSanctis.
And I'm Miss Frederick.
And we are joined by my classroom neighbor, who I have had all sorts of fun with so far in this whole first semester, I guess. Welcome, Mr. Brock Wysong.
What's going on?
Thanks so much for taking that long trip all the way across the hall.
It was a trek.
Well, welcome to Little Miami. A couple months late, I guess, but I think we welcomed you pretty early on, and we've been checking on you across the hall. And we definitely haven't been shining the laser pointer through the window onto your board to see how long before you'd notice.
You know, it took me quite. It did take me quite a while, and then I thought a kid had a laser pointer, and it was not. It was. Then I finally realized, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
It's like the older kid across the way.
Yeah, basically. Checked on me for first quarter. I would just like to, and then just kind of left me over there. To fend for myself.
I think you're fine. I mean, I came to you for help too, so it's worked out well having you over there. How has it been to transition kind of back to the classroom? Because you were an administrator, and decided 100 hours a week was probably a little much.
Not my jam, as I tell people.
So how has it been to kind of get back into the actual like teaching aspect of education?
It's been super great. I've just enjoyed being in the classroom before going into admin. So, and I was just telling the kids, because I have my forensics kids who all won't see because it's a semester class. So we were talking about just that at the end of the quarter or in the semester, and talking about how I couldn't imagine like where I am right now, and just how much kind of better I feel. Just the admin job, there's just a lot to that. There's I respect everything that they do, and it's like it takes a certain person to do that, and I was not that person. So just enjoyed being back in the classroom, just being around the kids, being able to do the things that I want to do in the classroom, and just care about them, but also teach them science as we do that. So it's been really fun to be back in the classroom, and I didn't realize maybe how much I missed it until I was actually doing it again.
How long were you an admin for?
For 4 years.
Oh man!
I got 1920. So the COVID year was my first year of admin.
Our first year teaching.
Yeah,
it was
we were all in good roles, man.
Everybody kept telling me like it's not this bad. I'm like, it can't be this bad, right?
There's no way.
So got to deal with all that. So that was super fun at the end of that first year. But then I was in 2 different schools, and then was just trying to figure out, was it just where I was it, just the job itself? And I realized it was just the job itself. I loved the schools I was at and loved the people. It was just that job was not, wasn't for me. So.
It's crazy when you think about actually what you like in a job. I didn't even realize it because when 2019 happened and we jumped into these roles that we hired at the same time, the first 3 years I was like, I don't know if teaching is it for me. And then it was the it was the environment, it was the coming back from COVID that I was like, oh God, okay, that's why it was so hard. Because I feel like last year was good, but then this year was the first time where I was like, oh yeah, I feel actually good about myself. So it's cool to jump from for not jump from, but recognize what do you love most? What is the long game in your career?
Yeah, for sure.
So then my question for you is this: why Little Miami?
So I was just I originally taught, before I became an administrator, I was at Dublin Kaufman, which is a pretty large suburban high school over near Columbus. So I was kind of looking for that big, because I'd worked in smaller schools as an admin. I went to a really small high school. Yeah. So I was kind of looking for that bigger high school kind of feel, bigger school feel that I was kind of used to when I was teaching, because there's just something there's something different about it. Not like it's bad, it's just something different that I liked. And like there's just opportunities to teach different things because I'm an integrated science license, so I can kind of teach anything 7 through 12, and just having the opportunities to have different classes and do different things, like teaching forensics for the first time has been super fun. So that's kind of what I was looking for. I was originally from this, like the Dayton-ish area, so was just kind of looking, and this opportunity popped up. It was something I taught. It was posted as like a chemistry job, I think, but wanted to continue that and just kind of be in a bigger high school if I could.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. What was your first impression of Miami?
So it was interesting because like one of the schools I was in before as an administrator, it's a huge district, but there's not as many people. This is like a huge district geographically, but there's still a ton of people. So it was just kind of like trying to understand like what that community would feel like, because that's like I went to a really small high school, like graduated with 40 people.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, super small. Yeah. There's more people in this building than like live in my hometown. So
I think we have classes that are that size.
Yeah, there are. But so we were. When I had lost my train of thought. I don't even know what I was saying before that.
Oh, first impression of Little Miami.
Oh, yes.
Because we were talking about big, small. Yeah.
Yes.
You're good.
So, grew up in a small town, like with like 40, graduated with 40 people. So the school was like the community. Like that's what everything kind of revolved around, what was happening in the school and just what was happening in town, things like that. So that's always my like kind of when I come into a district, just trying to feel out what the community is like, how invested are the people kind of and I felt like just being at some of the Friday night football games, being at homecoming, different things, like you can just feel that atmosphere. Like the stands are packed, people are just excited to be around. And be excited about what's going on at school. So that just felt really welcoming to me. Yeah. So I just like enjoyed that aspect of it where it just kind of felt like where I was teaching before. Like it just kind of felt like I kind of just stepped, it's a different building obviously, but just gave me that same feeling.
That's so cool. I love that. So then, nice. I have all the questions now. I didn't even know this. Well, it's because I don't know you, I guess. I don't talk to you very often.
I guess my questions are going to be a little more structured because I know exactly what we're asking.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
It's all good. We share, we're EDA partners, aren't we? Right?
We are.
Yeah. So we kind of, that's
so you know exactly who she is without knowing who she is.
You always would email me and be like, hey, I won't be here for this, blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, oh, cool. I'm like, no worries, whatever. Yeah. And, well, anyway, I want to go back. No, you're good. So then, why science? Like, what's your background? Like, why?
That's one of the things I was going to ask. Is like, how did
why?
Science become the thing that you decided to teach?
There's a few reasons. I just was always like in high school, like I was like good at it. That was like my favorite class, I guess, and just like some of the best teachers I had. And then when I went to, I was actually pre-med my first year of college. I was kind of in between teaching and pre-med, just kind of that like servant kind of aspect of a job. So when I went to college, I went pre-med. I'd done some like tutoring and some other things, like, but I'd just done more stuff with, pre-med in high school and like a summer medical camp and stuff. But so when I got there, I was just kind of like, this is actually not what I want to do. I kind of realized that. I don't know something my freshman year, just, I had to take I would have been taking the same classes regardless because of the science major and being pre-med, but just something kind of like struck me when, it was actually when I was in like Greece. We went on a trip to Greece with our honors college. So that's cool. I just had this, like, we were on this 10-day trip and just, kind of felt really good. And like one of my professors, we had talked a lot about like what I wanted to do and whatnot. So it just kind of like, I made that transition, which again, wasn't much because I was taking science classes and doing different things. And I just think it's a lot of just, you can explain what's going on in the world, especially because I was teaching physics and chemistry before.
Oh, wow.
So it's just a lot of like, you can like get into like what's really happening and with science and like what's happening in the world, why it works the way that it does. Yeah. And kids have so many ideas and what they think is happening, and then you like kind of blow their mind with like a new concept or like completely destroy their misconception. It's like, nope, that's not actually how that works.
I love that.
So that's super fun.
That's cool.
No, and I mean, between physics and chemistry, like that pretty much explains everything.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Like everything, it kind of packs in.
The
I went to school for physics originally. So, yeah. It was actually like a problem-solving piece to it, too. And that's what I went to college for physics. That was my original deal, and I just got lost on the way to calculus and kind of just stumbled around until I figured it out. But no, I mean, I think everybody changes, or at least maybe you should change. I guess this is maybe an unpopular opinion.
I'll be honest, I've never changed with science. You guys could ask Mr. Randy Gray. You should ask Mr. Gray. Mr. Gray, oh my God, yeah. And it's so weird because he was my teacher, so like I still am like, Mr. Randy Gray? Yeah. But you should talk to him. I was like, I cried in his class every day. Not like because he was a bad teacher or anything. It's just because I just didn't get it and never clicked. And I was like, why? And then he watched me. This is such a weird, I didn't even think about this, but he does this thing called Qual Lab every year. Okay. And I don't really remember it too much, but it's like you get a solution, then you have the directions and you go through and whatever.
You gotta figure out what's in there.
Mm-hmm, yeah, okay. So I had this partner and he was at the same table I was at, and he was like, okay, hey, you know when it says burn off half the solution, you just dump out half the solution. I was like, that makes so much sense. Obviously, duh. And so I kept getting it wrong, and then I kept going up to Mr. Ray, and I was like, I don't get it, whatever. And he was like, okay, well, let me watch you do it. And I was like, okay, cool. He watched me with the new solution he gave me, burn off half the solution, and then I just dumped it. And he goes, please stop. I mean, you're supposed to be good at reading. Like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, So yeah, science is not my thing. I'm very astounded that both of you guys are science people, and I love that for you.
I'm a science person, but I teach DMA, so I don't know how much of a science person
It's like technical.
I actually am.
Like,
yeah, I mean, we're that weird, and I get to have this conversation again in January when I get a new crop of intro kids of like, we're technical and we're creative, but it's not a drawing class. There's some problem solving. There's some like just follow directions.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of like just do your work. But yeah, it's
science.
We should trade places one day. Like you can teach mine, I'll teach your class. We'll just trade it
My
out.
wife is a high school chemistry teacher and teaches material science too. So like, I could get the materials.
Wait, we should swap. That would be the real testament.
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, guys, so today we're talking about the blood.
We're going to read the science textbook today.
What is your favorite thing that you have taught so far this year that I guess like either that you like because you interact with the students in a special way or like just the content?
I think I would have to say the blood unit, like as much as like there's just a lot going on, just like understanding, and it actually ties in a lot of different sciences because you do a little bit of like physics with like the angles of impact, but then there's a lot of biology with like the blood typing and just like how does that interact, like how can someone that's O negative give blood to whoever they want, but then they can only get O negative blood if they need to receive blood, and like just understanding all of that.
Oh, that's cool.
So because I met up with one of my mentors over Thanksgiving break, and we were kind of like talking about it, and she kind of like opened my mind to the idea that like forensics is really just a kind of like comprehensive science because you're covering all of these different, and I never really thought about it that way. I was thinking it very disjointed, and that just like opened my mind to this whole idea of like how the kids then need to like kind of learn that. So because you're doing biology, you're doing, there's some geology, there's physics, there's chemistry, there's all these other things. So it's like they kind of have to understand what's actually happening. It's not just, it's forensic science, but it's also not just forensic science.
Right.
So
that's cool.
It's been really fun to teach that class and just also get to do it. It's a semester class, so, figuring some things out and then things that maybe didn't go so well, getting to just redo those next semester and not having to wait a whole year now that with other courses, you kind of do it and it's like you got to not wait, but you got to figure out if you don't have time to kind of go back, you figure out with the kids then, but you might not be able to go back and do that whole activity again. So that's been fun.
There is something kind of nice about those semester classes of like you can have a quick memory of that didn't work. So sweet, make a note, and in 3 months I'm just going to do it different when it circles back around.
And,
for sure.
And it's so, I'll be honest, like those are so impactful. Like even if they're really short, my friend from, she was in the pilot year that we had that program, and she became a forensic scientist afterward because she was like, oh, I like this is my favorite, and now she works at the lab down in Kentucky, which is pretty cool. So if you want any contacts, I got some.
That'd be awesome. No, that's what I'm trying to do too, is just open like some of that career aspect too. And Mr. McIntyre, we had talked because he teaches the law and justice class. So he has someone that works at the FBI as a fingerprint analyst. So trying to like not merge our classes together, but like if we can like kind of piggyback off of each other. It's like where a lot of stuff we're talking about, like I'll mention it, but it's like I don't necessarily know everything about the law and justice side of it, but just trying to bring that together too.
That's cool. Wow. So we went over all the stuff. What's my next question?
Is it my turn?
I'm sorry.
Okay. I want to shift gears a little bit because
oh boy.
you're a basketball official.
I am.
I spent 8 years as a lacrosse official, and only stopped when I really messed my knee up and my ankle up, and then it just got worse from there.
Yeah.
So I found, as I transitioned into teaching out of like a quote real job, that like I leaned on like what I did officiating a lot to transition. Do you use officiating as like a piece of it? Is that something that helped you kind of become who you are, the teacher that you are, or am I kind of the anomaly here?
I don't know that I've ever really thought about it, to be honest. I think there's like the diplomacy piece of it, because you go into, especially because I do basketball, so there's like the whole warm-up time, the coaches are like right there, the players are right there. So I think you have to kind of have some like diplomacy about like how you interact with people, and you're just showing up at the school, you've never met these people, and then you have to referee the game, and the coaches are potentially upset with you about calls you're making, and then trying to like deal with them. But also, so I think that may be the parent side of it. Like sometimes if you have to like, interact with parents who you've had limited interaction with, trying to like, find a common ground there and have a conversation with them. But also then I think with the players, they're still high schoolers. So I think it's just being able to interact and, have a conversation with a kid who maybe is frustrated because they're not playing as well as they should, and just trying to like humanize that kind of like conversation with them, and just, where they start taking it on you potentially, or just getting upset and frustrated because then you have to potentially give technical fouls and do stuff like that, and you don't want to have to do that, but you've got to, the rules are the rules. So I think maybe just those interactions and the diplomacy of that, and dealing with people that you don't see, like you've just met potentially.
Yeah, you just show up.
That'd be awkward.
Although at least on our side, there weren't a ton of teams. So it's like after like 2 or 3 years, like the coaches know who you are. You don't really like get to know the players as much unless it's like a face-off guy that you deal with a lot. But like otherwise, like you're just like they know you. You don't know them. Yeah. But I imagine basketball, there's so many more teams that like it can become more of a blur.
And especially just moving back here, it's because I was in Columbus for like until the last 3 years. So I think just because there's some guys, that you work with that are some of the officials that have been doing it forever. They've lived in the Dayton area forever. So they kind of, people know who they are, maybe their kind of style potentially. But so that, because I've always watched them and just try to think about, okay, how can I interact with this? Like, and just try to pick up things that people do is always helpful. Like interacting with coaches, especially, just some people have like a very like, they have a knack for it, and they can just like say like just something, and the coach just calms down, and you're good to go. Where sometimes I don't have that.
Same. Yeah, I kind of realized that when I got in the classroom of like, oh yeah, like the diplomacy piece is probably the biggest part of that, and the like, no matter what you do, you're gonna make everybody angry. Like you can be exactly right, and everybody here is gonna hate you. And if you do it right, both teams will hate you at the same time. I've been there. I imagine you have too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was just kind of the sidebar I wanted to bring up, because I've been meaning to ask you, and like now we're sitting here, so I was like, oh yeah, let me mention that.
Did you do that as like a side job?
Kind of like in high school, definitely. I did like the little kids, like 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. So I would do that. Just kind of, there was a couple people from my hometown that like refereed, and I did it kind of uncertified. But then when I went to college, I officially got like the OHSA license. Worked for intramurals a little bit and did some things like that, like with working with our new officials and training them and doing different things. So I've kind of always enjoyed officiating. I was like also. When I was in elementary school, like I was never the one that I wouldn't play kickball. I would umpire the kickball game at recess. I was that guy.
I love that.
I'd always want to be the referee, or the umpire, whatever it was.
Did you see the Department of Ed has now added the officiating license as an industry recognized credential for graduation requirements?
What?
Yeah, I mean,
that's cool.
I think part of that comes down to we don't have enough referees. We barely have enough coaches, frankly. So,
Well, I mean, based on just honestly what you guys said, like I could see a lot of people being very uncomfortable with, upset parents and upset players and upset people. I know that I hate when my kids are upset. I mean, we deal with it because we have to deal with it, but also like I hate when I get a upset parent emailing me or calling me and I'm like, I can't fix the problem. I'm sorry, I wish I could do more. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, I've been followed to my truck more than once. Like people just kind of hollering at you. When I was reffing North Carolina, we had a kid get ejected who decided to come running up to us after the game to the point that the SRO came running over. to get involved. Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely some of that.
That gives me anxiety.
I don't want to say horror stories, but like you definitely have that where like you show up wearing stripes and people just hate you. It's like I haven't said anything. I haven't even blown the whistle yet, and you don't like me. Like, but at the same time, like I don't know, I miss it. I really, I've been working, doing my PT, trying to see if I can get to a point where I can get back to it, but I don't know that I'm going to get there anytime soon.
Yeah. No, it's definitely something, and it's something that like I feel like when you're good at, it's just like that extra thing you're doing. It's like so when I go referee, it's like you're good at. It's like it's fun to do, like work with the other referees and do different things. But
yeah, teamwork aspect is cool.
Yeah,
like,
and you definitely get some people that are not.
Would you ever ref like for Little Miami?
I would not.
Oh.
No, that's always very. I have done scrimmages of like the schools I've worked at, and those are it's actually more stressful to do the school like you potentially know because you're just like trying to be like perfect, and it's just you're never going to be perfect. But so it's just like even more nerve wracking because then you're going to see those. I'm going to see them again, or just like the kids are going to say something in class or in the hallway like about the call or whatever. Like live that life.
I always kind of liked though, like you could just block everything else out. Like you step out on the field for the game, and there's there's really nothing else going on. Like you have to be locked in, or something's really going to go sideways. And that was kind of fun, but. I reffed Little Miami before I started working here. That was the only reason I'd ever heard of it. And as my wife and I were like looking to buy a house in the Dayton area, as weird as it was, like we went off of like our feelings on towns and cities based on like me reffing there. So some of it was like, yeah, no, I don't mind Bellbrook. Vince was a great coach. He was really good to work with. Ooh, Miamisburg. No, I don't like Tim. That's just not for me. And looking back, it was like maybe that wasn't the best way to kind of pick and choose. We ended up in Kettering, which was a coach at the time I didn't get along with. The new guy's great, but I don't know. It's kind of a weird,
interesting.
It's kind of a weird piece. So if anybody wants to get into officiating, come talk to Wysong or DeSanctis and
not me.
Industry recognized credential.
I was reading. There's a little bit of pieces to that, but I mean, it's something the state's looking at. Of obviously, we need people in officiating roles. How can we incentivize?
I know
that?
a lot of people talk about like they used to like be just a class that you could take at high school. Like some like would run it like usually through like the physical education department or something like that or health, and then they would teach it and like kids would get certified. And I know colleges used to offer it as like a 1 credit hour, 2 credit hour course or whatever because you have to do all that. But because it takes a lot of time if you do it outside of like school and stuff, like 'cause you have to go to the classes or now they do it online and everything. But so it's definitely cool.
Hey, Harleman. Yeah, that would be that'd be a neat thing to add.
We could co-teach it.
Super fun.
I don't know if either of us have room in our schedule. But,
right? No. Right.
Because if I get back into it, I would. I don't miss coaching, but I do miss reffing.
Oh my, yeah, nope, that's not for me. But I'm very happy for you guys. Good job. Wow.
What, you don't go to the game and root for the refs?
No.
You don't go to the game?
Yes. I'm actually trying to. One of my students, they're so sweet. They were like, Miss Frederick, why don't you come to the game and see like all the basketball? Usually I try and go. This year I really haven't because I haven't had any time, but I really want to try once next semester happens. I'm going to try and go to a couple, but then they were so sweet. They were like, why don't you try and do like the national anthem? And so I was like, oh,
there we go.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't even know who to do this, like how to talk. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay,
you work in the building. We can figure it out.
Yeah. Well,
I know where Matt's office is. We can go there now.
I know.
This.
I talked to Mr. Mason and he was like, he called me immediately. He's like, hey, yeah, you just let me know. And I was like, okay, but we'll see. Yeah, that's the only way I would get there. Not as an officiant, though, for sure. You guys have, I don't even know. That sounds insane, but exciting. I feel like there's always something happening, just like being a teacher.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a lot like being a teacher.
Oh, God, I don't know if I could continue. Anyway.
So, Brock, you are also a baker.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say.
Home baker. Let's call it a home baker. I'm not like an official baker.
I'm pretty sure that was in the first episode this year we did at the Panther Show, where we did what we normally do, and we got a quick hit from each of our new staff members, and said, "Hey, like, what are you into?
I remember that.
And I believe it was Mr. Wysong who said I bake cakes.
I do. It's like a little hobby, side hustle, whatever you want to call it. I started, one of my best friends from college, he has 2 little boys, and he was like, hey, could you make like a we lived together. I would cook and bake and stuff when we were living together. So it was like, he said, would you want to make their birthday cakes? And then it just kind of became a thing. That was the only people, but then I've recently done for some people that, just random people or just other parties and stuff people are having and making cakes or cupcakes and things like that. That's what I focus on mostly. I can make other stuff, but it's just, I kind of like making cakes and doing different things like that.
What's your favorite cake to make?
My chocolate cake, I know it sounds but it's pretty good. The key thing is you put some like coffee espresso in it. It brings out the chocolate flavor. So that's
so Emerald Lagasse.
That may be, and this chocolate sauce that I didn't actually get. So I don't know how that would work, but
you got to be on the podcast longer.
I did bring in some homemade chocolate sauce.
I've been across the hall for a semester. I I don't know what else I need to do.
And there is some instant espresso powder in there as well.
Oh my God.
Because the coffee and the chocolate, it goes. Shout out Mason. We're going back to turn this into a food podcast. But, instant espresso. Anything that has chocolate.
Brings it out.
Do you have like a frosting? Do you have like a specific frosting you like make or use or?
I use buttercream a lot, but then I'll do different flavors. Like the ones I did recently, like were peppermint buttercream, and then like little candy cane sprinkle on top.
Oh,
yeah, we really get after
make the frosting from scratch and everything.
Oh yeah, come on now.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we're doing all the things.
Do you have a hand mixer or stand mixer?
Stand mixer. KitchenAid,
it's the only way to go.
I need to get one. I'm still doing the hand mixer thing. Yeah, I haven't gotten it yet. It's
on my
wedding registry, but we'll see what happens. It's kind of pricey,
But it's worth it because you only need to buy one.
Mm-hmm. Dang, I've had the one I've had forever.
I have my grandmother's.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I need to inherit
got a new one
one
because the colors didn't go. So now I have 2.
Oh, fun.
So we bake Christmas cookies. You can go double barrel. She's got one. I got the other.
Damn. That's right.
That's really nice.
So I can do 2 cakes at once.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, or I can go 2 coats of bread at once. We go all out too.
I wanna learn how to bake bread. Do you bake bread?
No.
Okay. Cool.
I don't personally. You do bake it, but I don't know how you bake it.
Oh my gosh, I'm actually meeting up with somebody Saturday. We're doing we call it a day of bread.
The day of bread. That's cool.
I want to make burgers for dinner, and your burger buns are really good. If I buy the stuff, will you show me how to make them?
Yeah.
So we have 4 different types of bread that we're going to make all day, and then conclude that with a burger dinner.
Nice.
On homemade burger buns.
Wow.
Yeah,
Fancy.
I want to
hobby, I guess.
That is your hobby.
Yeah, meal prep and bread baking and pizza making.
It's a good hobby to have.
I have not lost a pound this semester, and I think that's part of why.
Oh my God.
Over Thanksgiving, we did regional pizza styles with the same friend and made 4 different regional pizza styles.
Oh, nice.
And sat down at the table, him and his wife, me and Kayla, and went through them like a tasting.
Oh.
Comparing notes and different types of dough and proof times and
look at you.
I'd just eat it to be good.
we were so it was good though. It was really good.
That's cool.
All 4 different types were wonderful.
Oh man, and I like a good cake too. You ever made a German chocolate cake?
No. I'm I'm a home baker. It's just it's
whatever
a very side hustle. It's not even really a hustle.
So I think we need to have a bit of a conversation then of if you're coming at me for chocolate sauce and you've been across the hall and I have not seen a cake, tasted a cake, sniffed a cake, nothing. But here I am, Mr. Wysong, trying to check on you to make sure that you're getting your attendance in, your grades in, any Schoology issues you might be having. I remember a student coming out of your room with an issue, and I was right there to support you.
Do you call him mom too?
No, that is not no. Krista and Jill take care of me.
Krista and Jill are mom.
They take care of me. And so Nick is there. He's there.
Your emotional support hallway teacher.
He comes over when he does help, but
Jen like his mom to me, and so is Wayne. Well, he's not mom, but
Sally Lockhart.
He's everyone's dad, I think.
I mean, Sally Lockhart. I think I have some kids convinced that Cliff Carter is my brother, and Sally Lockhart is my aunt.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
And I think it I kind of see it even.
That's really funny.
Yeah, I had a couple kids convinced that Carter was my brother.
Huh.
So, yeah.
I bet that'd be cool if you could work with your sibling. Said no one ever.
Yeah, Jay's all right, but I'm not doing that. Carter is probably about as close to a sibling as I need in here.
That's funny. Oh my goodness.
So, Wysong, any good plans for the Christmas break?
Just going home to my parents. So my brother lives in North Carolina, so they're coming home for Christmas. And like he also teaches, and then his wife teaches. So we don't get to see each other a lot during the school year, summertime for sure. And then some of the breaks, like I'll go down there, and then but they come home for Christmas. So just gonna go home to my parents, just kind of spend time there, just hang out with them. My sister will be home too. So. Because all of my siblings are actually teachers. So,
oh my God,
we all have
kind of cool.
Yeah. So parents are not teaching. No one actually in our family is a teacher besides us three. But yeah. So makes for some. They're elementary though. They deal with that is I can't. Nope. Couldn't do it.
Nope,
never once thought about it. I was like, nope. I am good. High schoolers, I can deal with that.
Baby. No, I can't do that either.
Yeah. My sister even teaches like the preschool, so it's like the littles, and I'm
really
like,
little.
God bless her.
I need them to be able to read and to write and to talk. When they come to me, I need that. So appreciate what they do.
Emotional intelligence, and we can take you from there.
For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, just hanging out there, and then that week when kind of the holidays are over, and then just kind of get ready for the next semester, figure some things out, but also.
And the year's just flying by.
It is.
Honestly.
I can't believe the semester's over.
I know. I feel like just yesterday we were sitting down starting the podcast, and then I also feel like I know that when we come back it's going to go by so fast. I'm like, whoa.
It's like in those moments, like during, like in an individual day it feels so slow, but then all of a sudden, it's like it's winter breaking in. It's like, oh my gosh.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Wysong, we appreciate you taking some time away from getting your grades done, getting everything together here at the end of the semester
No problem.
to come chat with us, not just through the window.
Yeah.
I have crossed the threshold on numerous occasions.
So has my laser pointer. And
Oh
kind
my
of apologize.
So
gosh.
has my Dallas Cowboys magnet on your board that was there for a month. But hey.
Yes. Oh, yes.
You two
That
are
was a thing.
children. I love it.
Well, in all seriousness, have a great Christmas and time with family. We're glad you're here. Thanks for doing the things you're doing. And obviously, I know that our students adore you. And they absolutely love your class because I've heard them tell me. So keep doing what you're doing. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you. Appreciate that.